Hello friends! If you're here, you probably know a bit about Tmux and what it can do for you in terms of terminal productivity. If you don't, I've got you covered in a video up here, but with all the basics configured, sometimes you want more. I, for example, wanted Tmux to notify me when a meeting is coming up, but that's easy even without a plugin. Sometimes you just want more, not just something of your own that's private, but maybe bring your plugin out to the open source world. Maybe even get a few stars and contributors to help you move it forward and improve. Nothing like a side project that doesn't even require hosting other than the code on GitHub. Today, I'm going to show you a few different ways to create your own functionality, and the last one is a full-blown open source project that you can publish and put it on GitHub. With that in mind, let's take a look at creating your first Tmux plugin. If you don't want all of the above, I just want to show you that you can achieve extra functionality in many ways. One of them can be an implementation with Catpuccine. Just by adding a short script to Catpuccine, you can create a custom edition. I covered all about the plugin of Catpuccine and setting it up in the video up here, including an intro to custom scripts. So let's cover it quickly. You can start by adding existing plugins, of course, like the host machine or the username logged in, which are a nice touch, but we're after a real customization. So if you head over to your config directory under Tmux plugins and Catpuccine, you're going to find example.sh. This will help you get started with a script that integrates directly into the Catpuccine theme. I'll change the init function's name and all other variables to my weather in this case, just as an example, and I'll try to grab London's weather because that's where I live. Loading the config presents the default text, and if I quickly change it and reload again, the text changes to show that we can control the internals. Now, let's actually grab the weather. There's lots of ways to do that. I'll go with something simple that doesn't require an API key. wttr.in is a great service for that, so I'll grab the textual temperature in Celsius. I'll run the script to be sure that it's echoing the text, and once it does, it's time to update the plugin to call that script. I will update the path and the script in tmux.conf, and sure enough, the current chilly weather in London is on screen. Well, you'd think that by the end of March we'd get some sun in London, but this year is even grim for us. There's more than a couple great Tmux plugins for weather in existence, and the world doesn't need another one, so I'm going to build something useful for once, a plugin that monitors my website or any other websites for that matter, and I'm going to use UptimeRobot for that. UptimeRobot are also the sponsor of this video, so let me quickly show you how to monitor any website in under 1 minute, and then we'll build the plugin around that. What you see now on screen is my current dashboard monitoring my website, omerxx.com, with the website itself in a split browser pane. UptimeRobot shows you a nice visual of history response time, whether you had any incidents where the website or endpoint were not reachable, and even a status of your SSL certificates and whether they're about to expire. It can show you incidents in a page of its own for later debugging of issues, and you even get a professional status page to show your visitors. This is extremely important, by the way, giving your customers an independent service monitor that knows when the system is down. I've seen too many companies monitor and serve this kind of page internally, and sure enough, when the environment is down, the status page is unreachable. There's also a calendar view, maintenance window, and a ton of available integrations for you to implement. You get a bunch of endpoints for free, so just go to uptimerobot.com and check it out for yourself. UptimeRobot has over 2 million users worldwide enjoying the service, and as a thank you for watching this video, you get a discount. So check the link in the description below and head over to UptimeRobot to start your monitoring. But since we're hackers, we're going to use their API for the Tmux integration. I'll grab the monitor endpoint from UptimeRobot API, and yes, this is a real token that's already been deleted, so don't bother testing it. In the response, I get a large JSON, but what I mostly care about is the monitors field and the response code. A great way to grab that is JQ, but an even better one is JQP. JQP gives me a visual interface in the terminal to understand the query that I'm after that I can later use within JQ. So once I find the path to the reason of the status and the code, I'm going to integrate that into my request into the plugin. It's going to be very simple to begin with. If I get a 200, this means the page is up, anything else means it's down. It's not optimal, but that's why we're building a plugin, to get help with the open source community. So I'm making a bunch of changes to the previous example, mainly namings from weather to uptime monitoring, as well as an actual script to run from the plugin that speaks to the API. I'll pipe the result to JQ, I'll make sure it works well and add the silent flag to CURL just for clean response. When everything's ready, it's time to make the changes on tmux.conf. And if everything is okay, we should be able to see a 200 response in the status bar. So the thing works, but what about a little style? So let's add a simple logic to show a green or red light. This is going to be a simple shell conditional, but you can already see the potential of growth in code here. And since we're all about growing a real plugin, let's take this logic and implement a real project, installable with TPM and ready to be shared with the world. Let's go into this step by step. We start a new directory with a plugin.tmux file as the main entry point. This is mandatory by Tmux if you want to create a plugin. This has 2 lines to start with. The configuration of the current dir as a global absolute path, and the second one is binding a default key like any good plugin with the current directory /scripts and the plugin shell script. Not sure whether this is clear or not, but plugins don't have to be a shell script. You can use any other language as long as the user's environment has the runtime to support it. Or better yet, provide a compiled binary so that users can enjoy your release with a binary that matches their architecture. Once the scripts dir and plugin script are in place, let's hit the shortcut we created, prefix enqueue, and see that we got a response. That's perfect, it works, but only by printing the response to the screen. Let's create a Tmux pop-up for better visibility by adjusting the script. Running it now pops a Tmux pop-up with the status that we got. Ideally, this would only pop when things fail, with links to UptimeRobot's dashboard, maybe, but you're welcome to implement that on your free time or just ask me to do it in the comments and I'll publish it to GitHub. All that's left is a quick git init, then git add, but since we're cool, let's complete the process with LazyGit. The video covering LazyGit is up here if you want it, but in the meantime, let me show off by creating a new commit that's ready to be pushed to GitHub and change the world. That's basically it. Once you're ready, the next step would be to run TPM after updating your tmux.conf with the path to your GitHub project, and then TPM would install it and you're ready to go with Tmux and use the plugin whenever you want. All right, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this. Did you ever find yourself trying to customize Tmux to a point that it required a full-blown plugin? Please comment below and thumbs up if you found it relevant. Please also share the links if you've created projects of your own. Important note before you leave, Tmux can be a bit much sometimes, a steep learning curve and bad basics. All these make you wish you had something simpler, at least for remote instances. Well, give Zellige a try. Zellige is a modern open source Rust-based terminal interface created by an awesome developer called Aram. Aram is doing it full-time, so check his project and consider supporting him on his journey. If you're curious about Zellige and want to dive deeper, I've got an entire video covering installation and what it can do to your workflow that I highly recommend you check out. There's also a follow-up version for Tmuxers that can use Zellige and feel right at home. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.